My boss fired me for being pregnant, so I made her regret it. You want to know how to really hurt a bad boss? Not by yelling. Not by fighting. Not by begging for respect she never planned to give you. You hit her where it hurts most. Her reputation. My boss fired me because I got pregnant. Didn't say it out loud, of course. She was too smart for that. Too corporate. Too polished. But the second I told Vanessa I was expecting, everything changed. Suddenly my projects were getting reassigned. My hours were under review. Meetings I used to lead? Gone. Raises I'd earned? Postponed. Then one day, just like that, a termination letter in my inbox. No warning. No thank you for your hard work. Just, we've decided to go in a different direction. Cute. Real cute. But what Vanessa didn't know was that I knew my rights. I knew my worth. And most importantly, I knew her reputation meant more to her than any employee ever would. So no, I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't fall apart. I went quiet, collected receipts, screenshots, emails, documentation of every shady move she made after I told her I was pregnant. Then, I went public. Not messy, not loud, just the truth. Posted perfectly, shared widely. And Vanessa? She didn't just lose me. She lost everything. My name's Jade, project coordinator at a mid-sized marketing firm. Nothing fancy, nothing flashy, but I was good at my job. Really good. Organized. Reliable. A little too available. First one in, last one out. You know the type. The work wife of the department. The one everyone came to when they needed things done right, and done quietly. Vanessa? She was my boss for almost 2 years. Vice president of operations. All heels and power suits. Smooth-talking, LinkedIn-obsessed, girl boss energy. Everybody loved her. At least on the outside. Me? I didn't just work for Vanessa. I protected Vanessa. Ran interference when clients were mad. Cleaned up after her messy deadlines. Finished reports at midnight when she forgot to send me details until 9 p.m. The whole deal. And for a long time, I didn't mind. Because in my head, that's just corporate life. Pay your dues. Earn your stripes. Eventually get promoted. And Vanessa pretended to care. She'd say things like, "You're my right hand, Jade. Couldn't survive without you. Stick with me, big things coming for you." So I stuck. I worked hard. I stayed loyal. Even when the cracks showed. Even when raises got delayed. Even when she took credit for ideas I wrote in Slack 3 weeks earlier. Because part of me thought, that's just how the game is played. Until I got pregnant. And suddenly, the rules changed. Fast. Funny how fast your success becomes a burden when a powerful woman thinks she owns you. Funny how someone who called me family started treating me like a liability overnight. No congratulations. No support. Just a new, colder version of Vanessa. And me. I noticed. Didn't say anything. Didn't rock the boat. Because women like her, they forget one thing. Quiet employees? We don't explode. We evolve. We document. We wait. Before I knew, I loved my job. Loved the pace. Loved the people. Loved the fact that I had finally found a role where I felt like I mattered. Vanessa used to call me her secret weapon. Nobody handles chaos like Jade. You're a machine. She'd brag about me in meetings. Drop compliments like candy. Send me random appreciation emails, CC'd to HR of course, about how I was essential to the team. And me, I believed her. Because I was raised to think that if you worked hard, stayed humble, and kept your head down, good things would happen. Raises, promotions, respect, opportunities. That's what I thought was coming next. I wasn't just working. I was building a future. Planning to start a family with my boyfriend. Saving for a new apartment. Looking at maternity leave policies like maybe, just maybe, I could have it all. Work life. Mom life. Balance. But that was before Vanessa showed me who she really was. The cracks started small. Passive-aggressive comments. Hope you can keep up when baby brain kicks in. Reassigning major projects without telling me. Leaving me off emails. Pushing me out of client meetings I used to run solo. When I asked, she smiled like a shark. Just trying to lighten your load before maternity leave, Jade. Translation? Trying to erase you before you even leave. But the biggest shift came in my performance reviews. Suddenly I went from rock star to lax leadership initiative. From can handle anything to may struggle with upcoming responsibilities. All within a month of announcing my pregnancy. Imagine that. And I realized, this wasn't about my work. This wasn't about my attitude. This was about me being pregnant. Being inconvenient. being untouchable in her eyes. She couldn't say it outright, but she didn't have to. Her actions told me everything. So I went quiet, went still, went into full-on documentation mode. Because Vanessa? She didn't fire me that day. But trust me, she had already lost me. The first real red flag was a meeting that used to be mine. Weekly strategy session with our biggest client. Vanessa sent the invite out like normal, but left me off. Completely. I found out about it because a junior associate, bless her heart, forwarded me the notes after. Thought you might need these since you usually lead these calls. Ouch. No warning. No explanation. Just gone. Red flag number 2. Access revoked. Documents I built from scratch? Locked. Systems I had admin access to for 2 years? Suddenly IT error. But only for me. Funny how tech problems only show up after you announce a pregnancy. Red flag number 3. Performance concerns started popping up like weeds. She called me into a one-on-one. We just want to make sure you're not overwhelmed with everything you have going on personally. Translation? You're pregnant and we're about to ice you out. Oh, and this line. Chef's kiss. The team has noticed you've been less available lately. Less available? I was working through morning sickness like a soldier. Logging in at 7 a.m. Answering emails faster than Vanessa even read them. But sure, let's pretend I was slacking. But the red flag that ended it for me came from HR. After my review magically dropped me from exceeds expectations to needs improvement overnight. HR rep pulled me aside privately, lowered her voice. Off the record, document everything. If things escalate, you're going to need proof. That was all I needed to hear. From that moment on, every email, every text, every Slack message, screenshotted, saved, backed up. I made copies of every performance review, every client thank you, every KPI I crushed. Because if Vanessa thought firing me was going to be easy, she was about to learn the hard way. Pregnancy wasn't my weakness. It was my witness. And every shady move she made built my case higher. Quiet revenge is my love language. And baby, I was about to write poetry. Vanessa really thought she was untouchable. She thought HR was hers. She thought reputation mattered more than legality. And worst of all, she thought I was the kind of woman who didn't know her rights. Big mistake. Huge. Because while she was busy crafting this perfect little Jade's performance is slipping narrative, I was crafting a file. A beautiful, color-coded, time-stamped masterpiece of proof. Emails where I asked for clarity on assignments, ignored. Slack messages where I offered to pick up extra work, dismissed. Documentation of meetings I was left off of. Every single deliverable I completed ahead of schedule. Client emails saying, "Thank you so much, Jade, you always make things easier." That's not performance issues, sweetheart. That's receipts. Meanwhile, Vanessa got sloppy. Because arrogant people always do when they think they've already won. She made comments in meetings like, "We just need someone fully present in this role. I don't want to overload Jade while she's dealing with her situation." Her situation? You mean my pregnancy? Say less. Literally. And then it happened. The meeting invite with the subject line that said it all. Organizational changes discussion. A meeting I didn't request. A meeting only I was invited to. A meeting with HR and Vanessa. Termination meeting disguised as a restructuring conversation. The email was cold. Legal sounding. Empty. Like we hadn't spent 2 years building this department side by side. And me. I didn't flinch. Didn't beg. Didn't cry. Because I already had everything I needed. The day of the meeting, Vanessa clicked into the Zoom call like she was about to own me. About to deliver her little speech. Cut me loose clean. Quiet. Unbothered. Except what she didn't know was that by the time she fired me, I'd already spoken to a lawyer. Already filed a complaint. Already had screenshots saved in triplicate. Already knew exactly how I was going to hit her. Right where it would hurt most. Not her wallet. Not the company. Her reputation. The day of the meeting, I was calm. Scary calm. Vanessa clicked into Zoom like she'd won. Fake professional smile. HR rep sitting quietly in the corner of the screen. Looking more uncomfortable than anyone should in a standard restructuring meeting. Vanessa started with small talk. "How are you feeling these days, Jade?" Translation? "Let me pretend I care before I cut you loose." Cute. Really cute. Then came the speech. Corporate poetry. Words like business needs, realignment, resource optimization. I've heard enough true crime podcasts to know when somebody's trying to clean up a crime scene mid-sentence. And then, unfortunately, Your role is being eliminated effective immediately. There it was. No severance. No offer of reassignment. Just bye. Because I was pregnant. Because I was inconvenient. Because she thought I wouldn't fight back. But me? I smiled. I really smiled. Because I had everything. I waited for her to finish. Waited for HR to nod like this was all above board. And then I dropped my favorite sentence I've ever spoken in a work setting. Thank you for clarifying that, Vanessa. Just so I'm clear, after I informed you I was pregnant, I was removed from client meetings, stripped of assignments, and told, in writing, that my pregnancy was impacting my performance, correct? Vanessa's face? Priceless. Eyes wide. Color draining. HR stiffened like she'd just seen a ghost. Because my legal counsel advised me to document everything. And I just want to make sure I'm summarizing it properly before I file with the EOC. Silence. Dead. Awkward. Silent. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't threaten. Didn't curse. Just stated facts. Just made it clear that this wasn't a regular firing. This was discrimination. And baby, I had receipts for days. Vanessa stammered something about misunderstandings and internal policies. HR looked like she wanted to melt through the floor. Me, I left that meeting smiling harder than I had in months. Because the revenge was already in motion, and I hadn't even posted yet. After that call, I didn't cry, didn't scream, didn't vent online like some bitter ex-employee. Nah, that's not my style. Women like me, we move like storms. Quiet, unstoppable, and we love timing more than anything. Step 1. My lawyer filed the EEOC complaint the same day, with every receipt attached. Timeline, screenshots, emails, Slacks, meeting invites that forgot to include me after I shared my pregnancy news. It was flawless, surgical, HR-grade excellence. They were going to have fun explaining that to corporate. Step 2. LinkedIn. Oh yes, because while Vanessa was out here thinking this was a private matter, I knew better. Vanessa loved image, loved her personal brand, loved being the Women in Leadership keynote speaker, the panel guest for How to Build Inclusive Teams, the girl boss advocate for Empowering Working Women, the audacity. So I drafted a post. Not messy, not aggressive, just honest, just me. This week I was terminated from a company I've dedicated years to, shortly after announcing my pregnancy. My performance metrics remained strong, but my role was suddenly eliminated. To every working woman navigating corporate politics while building a family, this is why documentation matters. This is why knowing your rights matters. And to leaders who preach inclusion but practice exclusion, I see you, and so does everyone else. No names, no tags, just truth, undeniable, undistorted. And once I hit post, the internet handled the rest. Step 3. Screenshots from other women, DMs, emails, old employees with similar stories about Vanessa. Pattern, proof. Whispers turned into full-volume conversations. And the comments? Oh, they were gold. This story feels way too familiar. Sending you love and screenshots. Funny how certain leaders talk about women empowerment until you're pregnant. Vanessa thought she fired a liability. She actually promoted me to the position of her worst nightmare. A woman with proof. And a voice. When I tell you that post moved, it moved like fire through dry grass. I expected support from friends. Maybe a few likes from old coworkers. What I didn't expect was how many women had a Vanessa story. Within an hour, hundreds of likes, dozens of shares. And then, the DM flood began. Anonymous. Quiet. Respectful. But deadly. I used to work for her too. Same thing happened to me when I got pregnant. She told me I wasn't leadership material after my maternity leave. I left because of her exact toxic energy. Women who were too scared to speak up then weren't scared anymore. Because nothing emboldens people like watching someone else say, "Enough." Meanwhile, Vanessa went radio silent. Not a post. Not a comment. Not a quote graphic in sight. Her LinkedIn suddenly real quiet for a woman who usually posted Motivation Monday, like it was her personal holiday. Love that for me. But you know who wasn't silent? Other leaders. Other women in leadership. CEOs. HR managers. Recruiters. All commenting things like, "This is unacceptable in 2025. If you're hiring, Jade is the kind of talent we need more of. Pregnancy is not a performance issue." Vanessa's company had to make a statement. Oh yes, they dropped a lovely little "We take these claims very seriously" PR post. Translation? We got caught. And trust me, they were taking it seriously. Because my lawyer was already in contact, already setting meetings, already letting them know this wasn't just a LinkedIn post. This was a case. But me? I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't even petty. I was focused, clear, unbothered. Because I didn't need to destroy Vanessa. I didn't have to. She handed me everything I needed. On company letterhead. All I did, held up the mirror, and let the world see for themselves. The best revenge is when you don't even have to say another word. Because the world starts talking for you. Loudly, relentlessly, accurately. Vanessa? She thought firing me would be simple. Quiet, effortless, corporate neat. But me? I played a different game. Documentation, patience, strategy. Days after my post went viral, I got a message from someone in corporate leadership. Not HR, not some entry-level employee. Senior level, big title energy. We'd love to speak with you directly. Oh, I bet you would. They weren't reaching out because they cared. They were reaching out because they were panicking. Because suddenly, their VP of operations wasn't an asset. She was a liability. And they had receipts floating all over LinkedIn to prove it. Screenshots, DMs, stories stacking like unpaid invoices. A pattern they could no longer pretend didn't exist. Vanessa's worst nightmare wasn't me screaming. It was me sitting still, posting once, and letting her mess spiral all on its own. Meanwhile, I was booked and busy. Recruiters hitting my inbox like, "We have a remote project lead role available. Interested? Your professionalism handling this is exactly what we look for. We'd love to have you speak to our women's leadership team." Wild how that works. And Vanessa? Rumor had it she went on leave. The pretty corporate phrase for girl, go sit down before we fire you too. Her profile stayed quiet. Her usual daily boss babe posts? Gone. The speaking gig she loved so much? Cancelled. Public image? Cracked. Me. I never responded to her directly. Didn't call her out by name. Didn't subtweet her life into dust. Because when you play dirty, you expect war. But when you play silent, people never see it coming. And nothing haunts them longer. Weeks after that post, I was good. Better than good. Because this was bigger than Vanessa. It was about me. About every woman who stayed quiet because she thought professionalism meant silence. Spoiler alert, professionalism doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. Professionalism doesn't mean shrinking. Professionalism means receipts, grace, power, and knowing exactly when to hit post. Vanessa? Oh, she was still quiet. Last I heard, HR was investigating internally. Translation? Damage control. Reputation rehab. Desperate meetings behind closed doors. Trying to figure out how to fix what couldn't be fixed. Because you can rebuild departments. You can rebrand websites. But what you can't rebuild? Trust. Me. I landed a new role within 3 weeks. Fully remote. Higher pay. Better benefits. A team that actually respected me as both a professional and a future mom. Funny how life works when you clear out dead weight. But the best part was running into an old coworker from my previous job. She saw me at a coffee shop. Big smile. Big hug. First words out of her mouth? Girl. Vanessa stays quiet now. We laughed. The beautiful, healed kind of laugh. Because I didn't need revenge to look loud. I didn't need her embarrassed on the news. I didn't need to drag her name. I just needed her to know that her actions didn't break me. They built me. Because here's the thing. Bad bosses forget employees talk. They forget screenshots exist. They forget every shady little off-the-record comment they made in private. Can live forever when you document them right. Vanessa didn't just lose me. She lost her future, her credibility, her carefully crafted women in leadership persona. Not because I fought dirty, but because I fought smart. And nothing feels better than knowing your silence was louder than any speech you could have given. My life after Vanessa? Peaceful, steady, real. Exactly the kind of life I deserved all along. No games, no drama, no fake smiles in meetings. Just real work, real respect, and a real chance to show up as all of me, without hiding any part of my life. My new boss asked me day one about boundaries, asked me what I needed as an expecting mom, made sure I had flexibility, made sure my work was measured by results, not hours logged on Zoom. Wild concept, huh? Treating employees like humans. Meanwhile, Vanessa stayed exactly where she put herself. In the past. In the background. In everybody's group chat as girl, you remember Vanessa? Because corporate circles talk. Screenshots travel. Stories live forever. And women like me, we move on. But we don't forget. I heard from a former coworker that Vanessa's career stalled hard. No more speaking gigs. No more women empowerment panels. No more leader in diversity and inclusion posts. Funny how quiet it gets when the truth starts trending. But here's what I learned most from all of it. Never let loyalty become self-betrayal. Never let silence become your cage. Never let a job make you forget your value. Especially as a woman. Especially as a mother. Especially as a human being. Vanessa thought she had power because she had a title. I learned real power isn't about titles. It's about timing. It's about proof. It's about peace. And me. I got the last word without raising my voice. Without being messy. Without losing myself. And every time I look around my new life, every time I log into a Zoom with a team that wants me there, every time I see my growing family, I'm reminded, quiet revenge hits the loudest, especially when it looks like peace. Some people fight dirty. Some people fight loud. Me, I fight clean. With proof. With patience. With peace. Vanessa thought firing me was her power move. Turns out, it was mine, because she didn't just lose an employee that day. She lost her reputation, her credibility, her little girl boss, brand that looked good on LinkedIn, but didn't hold up in real life. She wanted me gone quietly, wanted me forgotten, wanted me erased. But here I am, better job, better pay, better life. And her name? Still floating around as a warning. Don't pull a Vanessa. Corporate code for. Don't mess with women who know their rights. Because the truth always outlives the lie. Receipts never expire. And karma never misses a deadline. I didn't destroy Vanessa. She did that herself. I just held up a mirror. Let her see exactly who she really was. And then, I walked away. No drama. No mess. No energy wasted. Just grace. Just peace. Just me, thriving louder than she ever expected. Because the best revenge is building a life you don't have to recover from. And every time I clock into a job that respects me, every time I check my bank account, every time I feel my baby kick, knowing they'll never see me accept less than I deserve, that's my mic drop. That's my ending. And trust me, it's savage.
Thanks so much for watching. If you love a good revenge story, or if you've ever dreamed of getting the last word without saying much at all, you're in the right place. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new savage ending. Because around here, karma always hits different.